Okay, Michael, we're good. We are live. Sorry for the little delay. Now we're good. Now we are good. Hello, everyone.
Television.
Television, exactly.
It is what it is.
Exactly. Always something happening just
before
you go live.
Do you want to talk about my server in Bahrain, or you don't want to talk about that?
That is a very funny story. Maybe
we'll tell later. We'll tell later.
Maybe
okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to AGTP Daily. This is the show that goes live every weekday to discuss the most important tech stories in the U.S. and abroad. Today is Friday, the 10th of April, 2026. Let's get right to it. We're going to go through some news you might have missed, but you definitely should not miss. We're going to go through Amazon's quiet AI build-out. It's bigger than you think it is. Why Nvidia's bet on SiFive, I like the name of the company, matters. Nvidia acquires SchedMD, which is also interesting, and then we'll do a little bit of Ask Us Anything, Ask Michael Anything, a little bit of AMA. Where do we want to start today, Martin?
So the first topic that I wanted to cover today, Michael, is actually a follow-up of what we talked about on Monday.
Yeah, we did. We kind of hinted at this, right?
Yeah,
we talked about it a little bit, but yeah.
We definitely talked about it. We were saying like this is something that OpenAI should do.
Right.
And actually, OpenAI just did it.
Is this room bugged? Maybe they're listening
to us. Exactly. But so the big news is that OpenAI finally launched a $100 per month plan to
in between their $20 and $200 plan.
Yes, exactly. Because before there was no in between, right? And I think a lot of people liked the $100 price point.
Do you know who else has a $100 price point?
Yeah, me.
Anthropic.
Exactly, the Anthropic, and I'm a buyer of that.
You are.
And I like the $100 price point. That's what I have. And to be frank, that's one of the reasons why I bought Anthropic as well, because of that price point, right?
Yeah.
And it was something that was missing at OpenAI. They didn't have it. A lot of people were asking for it, especially since, Peter Steinberger joined OpenAI, because a lot of people use this plan to use with OpenClaw, right? And so that's why it was something like that was asked by the community a lot. Not here yet as of a few days ago, and now it is finally announced, and they said, okay, now we are introducing this plan. So yeah, I guess that a lot of people, using OpenClaw, using all of these platforms are going to be very, very happy, because I think this is a really, really good price and price point. I think with that type of package, you can really do a lot of things. The limits that OpenAI gives you in terms of rate limits for the usage are way higher than what Anthropic gives you for the same price. And also like they are much nicer on like moving the limits or not, which is something also that people using Anthropic are not very happy about.
Do you think this contributes to their lack of profitability?
That's actually,
and do you think this is a little bit of the pull, the Sturm and Drang around like, we're going to be a nonprofit, but now we're going to be a profit-making company? Do you think so?
It is possible.
I think so. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think you have definitely a point. From a user standpoint, the only reason why we use Anthropic is because just the model works better, but everything else is better with OpenAI.
Sure. It's like an all-you-can-eat thing, but like the food's not as good.
Yes. That's exactly the dilemma that you have, right?
Right. Like this restaurant's way better, but this is all you can eat, and the food's not as good.
That's the thing. That's pretty much that type of dilemma, but that's why now this $100 plan gives you a lot of possibility, and for SMEs, for small businesses, they actually can really like power OpenClaw with a few agents easily with that type of with that type of pricing.
Got it.
So
is this a lure for you or someone like you that's using Anthropic, who's using the $100 plan to think maybe I should switch to OpenAI because I know I can get more out of it? Maybe.
It's very tempting.
Is it tempting?
It is very tempting. So so this is part of the story as well. It's like, unfortunately, I think they are just a little late. If it was 2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago,
like
I know.
Before Anthropic bans.
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah, no, but it is, right? Like I feel like timing here has really costed them a lot of users, because if it was 2 weeks ago or a month ago, when Anthropic didn't ban you yet, and then we didn't have to find another solution.
Yep. So
then when Anthropic bans you directly go there. Like really, I think last week I would have tried.
Would you really?
Yeah, I definitely would have tried.
So you know what I tried today?
Yeah.
I went to ChatGPT and I wanted to learn about Muse Spark. Spark Muse? I can't remember which way it goes, right?
Yeah.
And I asked him, like, can you just give me a little bit of information about Muse Spark? And they were like, what is that?
Okay. He doesn't know.
Anyway, so I signed up for it.
Okay.
And I can't tell whether it's just like some psychological thing that I have.
Okay.
Or if it just felt like thinner. It's hard to explain.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like you go to your favorite pizza shop and the crust is like just the right amount. And there's just the right amount of sauce. And I feel like there wasn't enough crust maybe.
Okay.
That's what it felt like when I was using it.
Okay.
Anyway, kind of off topic, but I just thought it was interesting because now that there are 3 models out there that you can use, Perplexity is like its own different thing. That's agentic now, right? But Muse is trying to be a whole suite of tools that matches what ChatGPT does, that matches what Anthropic does from a sort of chat perspective. Yeah. They haven't built like a codex thing yet, not that I know of, but I did try it today.
Okay.
I don't know what the pricing is. I just use the free tier just to see what it felt like.
I
think it's always going to be. Well, not always, but it's free.
At least for now, they didn't announce any plan.
Nope,
They didn't say like anything about it. Meta's business model is all about ads, so maybe they can stay there, right? So
they also did something else. You pointed this out as well. The difference between the $20 tier at OpenAI, which is what I use for ChatGPT, and I felt silly after I asked you, what's the difference between the $20 one and the $100 one? It's like 5 times.
So 5 times more usage.
Let me see. How does that work? 20 to 100.
That's pretty much it.
Can you do the math?
I think on the ChatGPT platform, in the $20 plan, they already give you unlimited usage.
I've never reached the limit.
Yeah, because I think there's no limit. And that's part of the OpenAI being so much nicer.
Well, I think, again, because it started as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
So you're just like, if you pay this, we'll just give you everything.
Yes.
Right.
So that's why like so many people like complain with the usage limit on Anthropic. No one complains on OpenAI.
No.
And so that's why now that they introduced this $100 price point, it's really tempting, really. Unfortunately, they're just a little late, so they lost a lot of people, but still.
But I always want to know what would happen. So if you're because most of this is going to be codex usage, right?
Yes.
And I'm not coding, so I'm not using codex per se. But what would happen if you're in the middle of doing something and then boom, you run up against a limit? Does it just like stop writing your code? It does. So it's like if it's a human, the guy just goes on strike. He's like,
no, he just leave and he just stand up and leave.
He just gets up and walks away.
5 p.m. Everything go.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
But plus also like the super actually Anthropic gives you a bar and you can
that says like this is how much you've used.
Which you don't have with OpenAI. So it can
can you top up?
Yes, you can top up and then go through the API and then pay for it. So that's the only option you have. But yeah, sometimes you are in the middle of something super annoying. It's not working. Trying to fill something, or you are into a long context theme with a lot of different things, and you're really into it, and then boom, you hit your limits. So that happens way more with Anthropic.
Does it?
Plus the thing that is not good with Anthropic is that their limit is changing, and they don't tell you anything. I think this is how they throttle the usage on their side. It just they have too much people who use them at the same time. Then they will give a lower limit to everybody to ensure deliverability for everyone. But so which means because it's changing, it's really hard to know what's going to happen tomorrow. You have no way to know.
And everything happens on their server, right? So if one guy is using it, he gets access to the whole thing. But if 1 million guys are using it, they're splitting it now into 1 million different instances on the same thing. I'm sure they have different servers and stuff. But
I think that's what they do. And yes, there's 5 million people, and they just lower the limit for everybody.
Because there's a piece of software that you and I use for our business, and if I use it at let's just say 10 o'clock in the morning, nobody else is using it, and it's actually pretty snappy. But if I use it at let's say 6 o'clock in the morning, plenty of people are using it, and it's just like crawling.
True.
Anyway.
So they do the same thing at Anthropic. They give you different usage behavior from the models and from the usage limits based on what time. And for them, the high usage moments is morning time, Pacific time. Sure. So right now, right now we are in the high demand. But
it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, something like that.
Something like that.
But I've never seen anything like this on the OpenAI side, right? Like nobody complains about the limit, the usage.
I feel like their stuff is more like ish.
It's more like it's much nicer.
Yeah.
I like to say this.
It's more like what my mother used to call ish time. I'll be there around 10ish.
Yeah.
Could be before 10, could be after 10, but around there. I want to ask you one more question though before we move on to the next thing. Does it matter? Because even you said, and more in a relative sense, but like you said, if it had been 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, you might have considered switching to this plan.
I think I would have paid at least for 1 month
just to check.
To try,
but now you're just like, I'm too wedded to the other thing.
Yeah, it's because I was using. I'm still using
Opus.
I was using
OpenClaw.
OpenClaw way too much to be able to just wait until I don't know when they're gonna give me the $100 price points, right? So I was really. I was like, I mean, a few days ago, I almost told you, I'm gonna take the $200
You're
plan
gonna call just
to try it
for 1 month.
Just for 1 month and see. And so
What would the
then
CFO say?
I have no idea. Yeah. It's very hard to convince
It's
him.
very hard to convince him.
Hard to convince him. But so that's why I was really but so that's why the only reason I didn't do it is because it was $200 and I was paying 100 with Anthropic, and I was like, I don't want to double my price, right? Because I don't.
Because you're not going to get double the value.
Yes, and I don't need it. All this extra usage and all of that.
And we're value guys.
Yes, we are very
value guys.
Oriented, not just for the money. It's more like for the waste of having something that I'm going to use, right? So because the $100 price point didn't exist, then I tried to keep Claude, and now we organized everything.
I want to talk about interoperability actually, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this before we started recording.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point as well.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Because one of the other sort of roadblocks for you, since you were using OpenClaw with Anthropic, with Opus 4.6, is that if you wanted to then test the code you'd already written using Opus 4.6, test it on Codex, it's almost like in the old days, trying to get a file from a Macintosh onto a Windows PC.
This is exactly that.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing. That doesn't help consumers.
No.
The switching cost should not be that high.
Yeah. So this is definitely something that needs to improve, I think.
Interoperability, right?
That word, it's so hard to say.
It is very hard to say.
So that Michael said.
That thing, what you said.
I know the idea. I know the definition, but I'm not gonna try to pronounce it.
That's okay.
But yes. This is a real burden to migrate from one model to another, from one provider to another, which really, to me, raised the big question when Anthropic stopped supporting OpenClaw, which is actually we are super dependent on these platforms, and the more we build, the more dependent.
That's my point, though, right? Because you built everything basically using OpenClaw on Anthropic,
and then you're like, what do I do now, right? And so Anthropic banning the subscription into OpenClaw, that's one thing. That's kind of a loophole, so you can understand, right? But the thing that you mentioned is a real problem, which is when you
the thing you mentioned, you mean interoperability?
Yeah.
thing.
No. More like the fact that the models are not compatible between each other.
Yeah.
Like for example, between Mac and Windows in the old days, right? That's the exact same thing that's happening right now. If you code something with Codex and then you ask Haiku, a model from Anthropic, to do it, it doesn't work.
It can't.
It needs to be coded with Opus to work with Haiku. I have no idea why.
Why, right.
But I've tried so many times, and that was one of the main things that made me waste so much time on just this thing that it needs to stay into
It was literally life-changing when you could take a Microsoft Word document from a PC and use it on a Mac. People were just like, this is magic.
Yes. So right now, I didn't manage to find a way to make it work. I didn't do it properly. But using multiple models like that is just not that simple. So
we're gonna talk later about people piling on to OpenAI, and in particular piling on to Sam Altman.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, I think one of the themes of the way I feel about this, and you don't have to agree with me, is I kind of feel like OpenAI is a little bit like the Wild Wild West.
Okay.
Where Anthropic feels like we're just going to be like a disciplined company, and we're going to do things in a way that are just moderated, and calm and slow and deliberate. Profitable we can talk about, but just deliberate. Here's the plan. We're going to execute the plan, and once we've executed this plan, we'll move on to the next part of the plan. Where OpenAI is just like, do that thing, do this thing, do this thing, do that thing. Why don't we have a $100 plan? Now we have a $100 plan, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I really wonder for how long it was in the work, this plan. Because Peter Steinberg...
It could have been 2 days ago, right?
So he said, Peter Steinberg, when Anthropic banned OpenClaw, there's a tweet from him that he said the $100 plan is coming. Because that's what everybody
That was 2 months ago?
So that was like 1 week ago that Anthropic stopped supporting OpenClaw.
No, but when did OpenAI buy OpenClaw?
February 14th. So 2 months ago. Yep. And so...
Oh, right, Valentine's Day. You have to remember.
Yeah, that's the easy way to remember.
I remember Valentine's Day clearly.
But so he said that's in the works, but I really wonder if it was a weird thing, right? Like maybe it was just like a reaction to what Anthropic did. It
feels like it, though.
Yeah, it just... If it was planned, then the timing is wrong. 2 weeks ago would have been much better. But
and what does the rest of the market think about this? Let's go on to the next thing, right?
Yeah, so to your point, to the reaction type of thing, I like to show this point of view from Shirish, who said OpenAI is panicking.
Yeah.
The $100 plan proves it. This week, Anthropic hit $30 billion annual recurring revenue. he say past OpenAI, but I would say maybe. We don't know.
We don't know because OpenAI hasn't said whether they're annualizing now
Yes.
more than 25 billion.
Yes.
It's close enough in a way.
And the figures was back in February when
Right.
Anthropic was making 9 billion, right? So since then, Anthropic has grown a lot. We don't know the growth of OpenAI, right?
Right.
So that's why let's just be careful about that.
Yep.
But yeah, triple revenue in 4 months for Anthropic. Cloud alone is doing $2.5 billion. 1,000 companies paying over $1 million each.
Yeah.
It's true. It's like huge.
No,
right?
that's a fact.
That's a fact. OpenAI was still at 25 billion. Yes and no, right? Like once again, that's the figures for since February.
So can I ask you this? Because can I just comment here?
Yeah.
Cher says this, right? And you and I were talking about this a little bit. OpenAI was stuck at $25 billion. I'll just give him that's a maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But even if that's true, he says
Yeah.
bleeding devs to Claude
This
every
is-
single day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but do you, because if those devs are like you are,
Yeah.
that meant if he's bleeding them to Claude, that means they're moving from Codex to Claude.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, to Claude, right?
Yeah.
But we already talked about how difficult that is,
Yeah.
or how difficult it seems to be.
So
So go ahead.
I think it doesn't talk about the small company type of developers. We're talking about the enterprises.
The enterprises,
they are-
yeah.
they are
But
talking
even for
about
them,
like-
it's a pain in the...
It's a pain, but it's
In the
big,
neck.
it's a big budget.
Right,
I
it's a
think that-
decision.
yeah, that's a big
It's a decision.
decision. It's the entire company that moves there, and yeah, like this is the enterprise battle that Anthropic is definitely winning right now, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, for people just like me, who are just like coding smaller stuff than the 60 trillion token that Facebook is using for everybody else, it's much harder to migrate than it seems, right? So
Yeah, and one of the things we didn't mention in the previous discussion was that if you sign up now for the $100 thing, they'll give you 10 times as opposed
Yeah.
to 5
Yeah,
times
yes,
for a
yes,
short
yes.
term,
yeah.
just to entice you to either stay or to join.
Yes, but once again, for everybody who's serious into coding, you don't want a 2 weeks fix,
No,
Like-
no,
like
no. We talked about it.
You really don't
No.
It can maybe help you to migrate easier, like if you have a 2 weeks more token type of window. But that's why, like, that fuels this idea of they panic and they react to stuff instead of being proactive.
So there's no way to take the Haiku generated code, the Claude generated code, give it to Codex and just go, read this.
yes, some people do that.
You can, right?
Yes, some people use one to code and the other to review.
To review, right?
And so yes, I don't do it myself. Apparently, it works pretty well.
Pretty well.
But like for me, like the user that I am is a non-developer user, right? So like in case it doesn't work, it doesn't work,
Right.
and I can fix it, right?
Right,
So for me, the agent needs to do everything. It's not like
Right,
a
right.
coding assistant,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, it's a coding guy on his own because I can't help, right? So that's why like, I think the usage is slightly different, right, from real developers, let's say. But yeah, it's true that right now Anthropic seems to be winning on the model. Now OpenAI has a much more competitive plan. They are also much nicer. So let's see. But definitely they react. It seems like they are reacting to stuff.
That's what it feels like, right?
Yep. Instead of being proactive. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
So
Then the next story in the OpenAI.
I saw
big
this. I saw this.
Yeah.
We talked about it. This is
Yeah.
really interesting. Go ahead.
So the information released that OpenAI projects their ad revenue to be 100
Wait, are you
billion.
doing ad revenue? No. You. Let's do the Nick thing, yeah?
Sorry,
Nick, I want to talk about this first. We'll get to ad revenue. No worries about it. We'll
Okay.
get to ad revenue in a second.
Sorry. let's do
OpenAI
that.
sends a memo to investors claiming their compute advantage over Anthropic.
Oh yeah.
The reason why we want to talk about this, right, is because OpenAI says their compute is 1.9 gigawatts in 2025, and Anthropic, the weenies over there, are only 1.4. They're so far behind.
The weenies over
And
there.
this is like, and the reason why I want to talk about this is because when we get all the way to the end for the Ask Us Anything, there seems to be like this little tit for tat thing going on between OpenAI, like they're 5-year-olds in kindergarten. Like you took my toy, I'm going to take your toy. You talk to my friend, I'm going to talk to you. You know, this kind of thing.
Yep.
And to be fair, it doesn't really matter. But the fact that this argument is happening in public, because is actually really interesting. But don't forget, again, I always want to talk about precedent. Steve Jobs used to take the massive, I can't say it on the show, but like he used to make fun of Bill Gates all the time.
All the time, right?
hey, we've released the new version of Mac OS. Microsoft, you should pay attention because you're going to have to copy it to put it into Windows kind of thing, right? He actually said, get your photocopiers ready. I'm not kidding. And one time they were actually sitting right next to each other with Walt Mossberg.
Okay.
And they were talking about like their operating systems, and Steve Jobs was just like so dismissive and so arrogant. Bill Gates sitting there going like, I'm a billionaire and your company's failing. But still, Steve Jobs would say to him stuff like, the problem with Microsoft is they just have no taste.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what's happening here again.
It's true.
Right? Sorry.
And from like an advertising and marketing standpoint, there is a ton of super funny ads from this era,
oh my God.
Right? Like this, but I feel like this is helping actually both of them, right? Like when there's like all of this ongoing discussion about exactly what you just said, right? Like people making fun of the ad itself, people talking about the ad itself, talking about like all of this messaging between the two companies. It's good at the end of the day, right?
No,
like,
for sure.
Like I think one of the most recent, very big example would be the Burger King against McDonald's. Like Burger King was the small guys. I mean, in all like, proportion, they were already big, but much smaller than McDonald's. And they did amazing ads, like in the same type of stuff. and so that's always funny when they do this type of thing, yeah.
So I just want to mention one more thing. This must have been 20-something years ago, but again, it was Apple versus Microsoft. Mm-hmm. Apple did these ads where Justin Long, who was an actor, pretended he was the Mac. And there was another comedian, a guy named John Hodgman, pretended he was a PC. And they would do these unbelievable ads where he would say, where Justin Long would do something like this. I'm a Mac. And he'd go, I'm a PC. And he'd go, I just got back from vacation and I made this unbelievable book from all my photos. And it's really easy. I just gave it to them and they did this thing. And John Hodgman was like, I went on vacation too. Well, what did you produce from it? And he had like a pie chart up, and he had one of those little red things that he put. He goes, "Here's me hanging out. Here's me at the pool." And he was just like, "What are you doing?" But you're right. I think it helps both of them.
Yeah, I think it helps both of them. But here, it's not funny yet.
Right? No. It's mean. These guys don't like each other.
This is like more mean, like the Anthropic Super Bowl ads, like what, a month ago, something like that.
Yeah.
When they were like, "Hey, there is no ads coming to Anthropic."
Yep.
So this is it's this type of vibe, right? Like the same type of atmosphere, but it's not funny here, right? It's not funny yet.
No, not yet.
Maybe at some point it's gonna get funny.
I hope so.
But yeah,
right now it's getting pretty mean. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries.
Let's talk about the ad revenue because this is also really important too, and put it into context as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exactly why I wanted to mention that, because the number seems big, right? Like OpenAI say, hey, we are going to make $100 billion per year of ad revenue by 2030.
Right. And remember, we said they've already signed up 600 companies for $100 million already.
Yes.
And that's just in like 2 weeks or something, right?
Yes. So something like that.
Go ahead.
So something like that. So then I wanted like to.
It sounds like a big number.
It sounds like a big number. And my first question was, okay, how much Meta is making?
Right, because the two big online dominators of this thing are Meta and Google.
Yes, that's the two top of mind when it comes to.
So what do those guys make?
So Meta is making $200 billion per year.
Oh my God.
Okay, as of now, as of 2025.
Right.
Okay.
But their business is actually growing. I think I read a couple of days ago.
It is actually. I have a chart. Yeah, look. It is making 196 billion in 2025, 160 in 2024, 130 in 2023.
That's 20% higher.
It's huge. Yeah, it's 20% growth.
Back of the napkin math, but yeah, that's like 20% higher.
Yeah. So growing really, really nicely. 200 billion right now. If they do like another 20% or even 10% this year, we're gonna be at 220, 230.
So what's Google though?
So Meta 200. The other one that is worth mentioning, Google, they are making $260 billion per year. So that's the number of 2024. So maybe it's even higher right now.
So let's say again, it's 10% higher. Then it's like 290, almost 300 billion.
Maybe very close to 200 billion, right? Also, like the third one that I think was worth mentioning is Amazon. Amazon just the advertising revenue. Okay?
So, but can we talk about this? Sorry, go ahead. What's the number?
So, they are making $78 billion. They made $78 billion of ad revenue in 2025.
78?
68. Sorry.
68, yeah.
68. And basically just people who are paying ads to promote their product on the Amazon.com
just on Amazon, though. It's not like an advertisement for like, it's just to get visibility.
better ranging.
But think about it.
visibility.
Think about it. They're taking $68 billion of revenue just for placement of product.
It's crazy. When the entire idea of the marketplace was, hey,
Everybody-
anyone can sell anything, and then you can find the product that you want. But now, $68 billion from the advertising, which means basically better ranking and being ranked better than your competitor.
But you know, there's an analog equivalence to this.
Okay.
If you go into, because you're thinking like, oh, this never happened offline, right? But and not at the same scale. But if you walk into any department store, any supermarket, the stuff that's at eye level,
Yeah.
people pay for that.
True. That's true. Yeah.
And the stuff that's at the cash register, stuff that's down here, you know what it is?
Yeah.
Candy and stuff for kids.
Yep. It's
Crappy
true.
toys for kids, and they pay for that too.
Yeah.
It's not $68 billion,
Yeah.
but there is precedent for it.
Vase.
Go
You're right. So that's why I think now that we know all of these numbers and we put the number of $100 billion back into context, first of all, to me, it feels super ambitious, right? Because that really, we didn't still answer the question of how people going to enjoy this type of advertising.
Yep.
What is going to be the experience
On
right?
ChatGPT, yeah.
On ChatGPT.
You know the way I feel, but yeah.
GPT. We also talked about Perplexity. We did the test, right? They tried to do ads into their
And they gave up.
into their ecosystem, and they stopped because the customer experience was not good.
Yep.
And they were scared that people would lose trust in the result. This is exactly the main problem that these ads can have, right? So that's why, first of all, going from 0 to 100 billion in 5 years looks like really ambitious to me. And even if they do, they would still be like half of what Meta is doing as of 2025. So it would not be like really, really, really big to me and really, really impressive or game changer.
Right, and there's also one other piece that's missing. I'm just going to say Facebook, because the ads are not anywhere else in Meta's ecosystem.
In terms big, but yeah, that's
Right,
that's
I understand Meta's the name of the company, but Facebook is the platform where most of their ads sit, and that's where most of their ad revenue is, right? And for Google as well. But the combination of those two together is what, 400?
with Google.
So if you just take the Meta is global Meta advertising is 196.
Yeah,
Google was 264. What's that? $450
yeah,
billion. It's a lot of money. But those two dominate. They probably take 90% of online ads.
yeah.
Something like that. Let's say 85. If OpenAI is going to get up to $100 billion, they're going to have to take some market share from these companies. How's that going to happen?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
That's a really good point, because the only reason why I think from an advertiser standpoint we would move our money from Google or Facebook to OpenAI is because the return on the investment is better.
Better, yeah.
So what does return on investment mean? It means either they give me a better price, so I pay less, but at the end of the day, this is going to change. You can have a 2 years, 3 years, or 6 months window. I have no idea how long, but where you are the first mover, so they give you a better price, but then when the competition kicks in, then you go back to a bidding type of price. But
also, what percentage of people that are using Google now to search that are like your mom or my sister go, you know what, from now on, I'm going to use ChatGPT for all my search. No. You and I do it. Again, we can't forget, we're in this bubble.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't think my sister, who's not an idiot, right? And remember, once she sees Google is powered by Gemini, she's going to be like, I'm already using AI.
Yeah,
the ads have always been there.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? She probably has a Gmail account.
Yep.
She doesn't have an open... You don't remember before there was Gmail. But the genius of Gmail was that it was free, and you got 5 gigabytes of storage. And everyone was like, I remember when people were signing up, there was a line.
Okay.
And part of the reason why Google did that was because they just wanted you to be part of their ecosystem.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
And that's
there's no there's no michael.waits@openai.com.
True. No, that's true.
Right?
And this is such a huge advantage of Google.
Massive.
Right? The ecosystem that they have built is just insane. Google Drive, Gmail, Maps, Search.
Yeah.
All of it is free.
Right. All of it's free.
From a user standpoint, it's impressive, right? It's impressive.
Oh, I want to try that now that you mentioned it. I want to try to have ChatGPT give me directions somewhere.
I mean, good luck.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give me a map
Yeah.
of how I get from here to Tom Wong or whatever it is. Yeah?
Do you remember like when ChatGPT came out, like, a lot of people were saying, "Hey, I'm using Google Lens. That's the end of Google.
And Google's
like, blah,
over.
blah, blah, Google is over, right?" But that changed quickly, right? Like people very quickly realized that actually no. When ChatGPT started to say like something completely crazy, right? So here I think for the advertising to work, OpenAI, first of all, pricing, they need to be able to compete on pricing of the ads and then return on the investments first. But then second, I think they need to bring something else to the table in terms of how they profile the clients. Like that the guy who is going to be served the ads, they need to use the data that they have that nobody else has to be able to give me a better client. But Facebook and Google are so good at that.
But also, sorry, go ahead.
It's going to be really, really, really hard, I think, because like I think especially Facebook, like actually no, there's advantages with the two platforms. If you look for best Nike shoes on Google, that's a great query, right? Like when you know what the guy wants, so then the ad is super relevant.
Really
right?
straightforward.
Then on Facebook, the algorithm, even if with no query, are really, really, really good. Like all of our friends who do e-commerce, they love Facebook.
Yep.
Because you just say, that's what I sell, figure it out.
Exactly.
And it works, Michael.
It does work.
And it works. Just think about it. Like Facebook is like a machine. They are insane at finding like who is going to buy what from who, basically. And so to beat that level of profiling is going to be tough.
But also think about this.
Yeah.
Both Facebook and Google have spent more than 2 decades building out, because it's not just displaying an ad on the page.
Yeah.
You use the Google ad business, right?
Yeah. Every day.
It's very sophisticated on the back end.
Yeah, for sure. It's completely.
And that took, and it wasn't always that sophisticated.
Nope.
I mean, it was always cool.
Yeah.
But now it's very, very sophisticated, and it's placing the ad, meaning you building the ad campaign, but then Google deciding where it gets placed.
Yeah.
And then all the metrics and all the analysis and all that stuff, you can't build that overnight.
The tracking as well, but
Exactly.
you need to know like which ad is converting better, all the A/B testing.
So getting to 100 billion in 5 years, and while you're taking market share?
Yeah, it's true. I think
Do you know what I
mean? This is the tough part. This is really the tough part. So like if you just talk to new advertiser, maybe, but yeah, if you want to get like a L'Oreal, a LVMH.
Yeah, or like Mercedes or something to put their ads on ChatGPT.
They may try, right? Like they may try. So that's why like you may have a shot, right? Like because when you're an advertiser, if you can get better return on your ad spend,
right.
You just go for it, right? So there's always like part of the budget that goes for testing. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. But price and profiling is going to be something, right? Like for example, I think the TikTok ads are like, I don't think it works that well, because that's like the latest platform. We introduced a big new platform for ads.
For ads, yeah.
Still in e-commerce, like this type of thing that would be really well for TikTok. They prefer TikTok organic.
Yep.
Or Facebook ads.
But it's also risky. It's also risky for these big companies to move. Right, because that Mercedes, I'm not just using Mercedes because I saw something funny online today about a Mercedes ad, but that Mercedes ad is working.
Yeah.
And they know what the ROI is.
They have the team, they have the processes, they have all of that.
And they're going to have to convince their boss to go like, hey, we should do this on ChatGPT. And he's going to be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so they may try at first. So then the other side of the story is that they hired the guy who built all the meta ad business, right?
Sure.
A few weeks ago. So
yeah, but again, the track record of that guy coming over and building it somewhere else, he's going to have to hire all these other people that are experts on it.
Yep.
Anyway, it's interesting.
I think that's interesting. Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. We don't know.
But once again, even if it works, 100 billion in the context of all of that is not that impressive.
Can I make one more point?
Yeah.
They're saying in 4 years, 2026, actually we're at the beginning of 2026, 5 years from now, they're going to annualize $100 billion of revenue on their ad business. But they've already committed to spending $122 billion, $600 billion, in the next 5 years on AI infrastructure.
Yep.
Okay, so that's $120 billion a year.
Yeah.
That's easy math. And their revenue, just from ads, is going to be $100 billion. They're still at a slight deficit. And they're already at like a $19 or $20 billion deficit today. And they're going to spend more money to build out infrastructure, which means that deficit's going to get bigger.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's a rough business. Yeah, we don't know where it's going.
Let's see how it works. I had the last stats.
Go ahead.
For that was AWS, so the server part of Amazon, just that business is making $142 billion per year, just the hosting.
The AWS business.
Yes. So we were talking about that yesterday, right? Like of Anthropic launching their managed agents with like the hosting fee up to $60 per month.
Right.
That type of business is making Amazon $140
And what is the hosting business at OpenAI right now generating?
There is none.
Exactly.
But that's the next step.
That's the point, though.
That is the announcement. I'm ready.
You're waiting to hear that.
I'm taking a bet right now with everybody who wants to bet against me. I'm sure, like in the next few months, we are going to see OpenClaw managed hosting and also like a server offer at OpenAI, because once again, AWS $140 billion per year. That's a massive business.
Right, it's a very profitable business for them.
Very profitable business. They have OpenClaw already. Anthropic is doing it.
Yep.
Of course, they are going to do it as well. So.
Okay, let's talk about Shopify.
So, next news that we had yesterday.
That you should know about, but you may not know about.
Yes. So, Shopify launched AI Toolkit for agent-managed stores. So, basically what they did is that they built this toolkits, so then your AI agents can actually go into the Shopify dashboard and do things for you. Okay, for example, add in product.
Is that toolkit an API or?
So no, that's for CLI. So
got it.
Close.
Yep.
Okay, but the idea is to make something really, really simple that the agent is going to understand, is going to know how to use, and so the agent can do things for you directly in the Shopify backend, so you don't need to do it yourself, basically. So that I think the reason why this news is relevant is that I think this is not only the future, but this is what every software has to do right now. Like they are one of the first to do it, but everybody who is not going to do it are going to lose so much market share.
I wonder why they do CLI as opposed. Sorry, I love the tech part of it.
Yeah.
I wonder why they do CLI versus API, but anyway, go ahead. So you think if you don't do this, if you don't enable this,
no, for sure,
you're going to lose business.
For sure. Like, look, like once again, I'm going to give like one example from my first personal story. We use Substack for our newsletter.
Right.
Their main competitor is Beehive.
Yep.
Substack has no API. Beehive has. So I need to put all the newsletter and all the data myself into Substack.
Right.
My
Which wastes your
agents,
time.
Which a year ago was fine because there was no other solution.
Right.
But now that I have an AI agent,
you're just watching the Beehive guys over there going, I just connected my agent to it. It's doing it on its own.
They are at the beach, the guys who use Beehive, because they don't need to do all the clicking.
Right.
Because their agent does it for them.
Right.
So how do I feel? I am on my computer, I want to be at
the Beehive guys are at the bar.
Exactly, right? So this is mandatory to me. Like every software will need to evolve to that. So here, like I think that there's really like these two type of softwares. There's the software that doesn't do much, like the email sending software, the CRM software that are so easy to build that we can just build them ourselves and done. But then there's the platforms like Shopify who are impossible to build, right? And they do the hosting, they have all the ecosystem of apps and themes and developers.
You talk about rebuilding Shopify on your own.
Or even rebuilding an online store on your own.
Yeah, it's hard.
This is a lot of work. Like
it's hard.
For the $100 or $200 per month that Shopify asks you, you are not going for the burden.
It's weird. It feels like a company like Shopify has a bigger moat around it than a company like Salesforce.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? It's even though Salesforce revenue is high, super high.
Yeah. It's you just can't tomorrow replace Shopify with your own custom e-commerce store. I mean, you can try, but as soon as you're gonna have some people coming on your store, you're gonna have tons of problems, and that's what Shopify brings. It's much more the hosting infrastructure and the ecosystem that they have, rather than just the dashboard to just click the button, basically, right? So I think this is really something that we need to keep in mind, that in my mind, that these two type of software, once again, the one we can rebuild ourselves and the one who provide much more than just software.
Right. And
so for the one who provide much more, they need access for the AI agents.
Right.
This is the future.
And they need it yesterday.
Yes. And so I think we are going to see much more of that in the coming weeks, in the coming months, in the coming years.
Yep.
And for everybody who build the software right now, do that.
Please.
Just include that from day one. Just think that maybe no one is going to use your beautiful UI, so don't make it too beautiful.
Yeah.
We don't need it. Actually, we may not need it. Just make sure that you
Right, I
have
mean-
very good access for the agents, either via
We've talked about it on
API.
this show many times. The
Yes.
AI is the new UI.
Is going to become the new UI for sure. It's
It just
actually
is.
already becoming the new UI for
It
sure.
is. It is. It is.
So that's why I think this was an interesting move from Shopify, because there's not a lot of companies of that size that have yet implemented that.
That's really
function.
interesting, actually. It's
Yep.
super interesting. Command line interface.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, let's see
Let's
how
see.
let's see how they work. But
I would love to see the technological implementations at Shopify.
it must be very insane.
It's got to be really
Yeah.
interesting, though.
Like the servers distribution, the guy who built the servers in infrastructure to handle that type of traffic, because they have like massive brands with Shopify. It's not just like small.
No.
mom and
It's
pop
not just
shops,
like
you know.
Bob's shoes.
No. You have Kylie Jenner with like $1 billion brand who use them, and like ton of
Rihanna
others.
probably does this.
Rihanna as well, maybe.
Yep.
It's like stores that have millions and millions of
Yeah.
users.
The throughput must be amazing.
And the fact that you can click on the button and then pay and it works and it doesn't crash, it's really hard to do. It's really, really hard to do. Like these all uncached queries at that scale and globally.
Yeah.
And then you have to get all the data in the same place, because when you log into your dashboard, you want to see your orders. You don't want to see the orders somewhere for the US, somewhere else for
No. You want it all to be
Singapore.
consolidated together.
This is hard. Like this is not an easy problem.
We haven't talked about this today, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole yet, but we should do a segment at some point on how the CDNs are using artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Right, because the CDNs, people don't talk about this all the time, but these content distribution networks, they basically are the internet
Yeah.
at
it
some
is
level.
Super interesting. Yeah.
Right, and Shopify couldn't run their business without being on a CDN.
Yeah.
Because you just talked about this distribution stuff, yeah?
I think they are on Cloudflare, Shopify.
Right.
They use Cloudflare. And so, yes, these companies, they have all the data.
They do.
And they help companies like Shopify to build their infrastructure, to be distributed worldwide.
Yep.
So that's why, like, every time there's an outage somewhere, like a very big one, very often it's the CDN. Like
You never hear like Shopify went down.
No,
You hear the CDN went down.
very often
And Shopify
that's-
couldn't be accessed.
Yes, exactly. When you have like
Yeah.
a very big outage across many different websites, very often it's the CDN. When they fail, it's bad.
Again, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm just thinking, like, imagine what the cybersecurity protections are on the CDNs.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, you
There must be guys with like literally just with like machine guns
I mean,
at every entry point.
they must have like millions of attacks per day. I'm
Oh my
sure
God.
it's in
Billions,
that range,
yeah.
and maybe billions,
Billions,
actually, maybe
yeah.
billions, because now with AI, like you had a conversation with Fastly, right? Like
Yep,
a few weeks
yep,
ago.
yep.
Super interesting. They are one
Very
of the
interesting.
largest
CDNs in the world, yep.
We are going to have Akamai actually. Like we are going to have the CTO of Akamai on the HDET podcast.
Yes, we are.
In a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So we are going to be able to ask
We
him
should
that.
ask him-
Yes.
we'll
yes,
definitely
yes.
ask him that.
Yep. So that's once again one of the largest
Put a pin in
CDNs
that.
in the world. This is very hard stuff from a tech side, from a tech standpoint. So
Yeah.
very kudos to them. Super interesting.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
Next topic.
You want to talk about? I'm gonna do a little bit on Amazon. We said at the beginning of the show, right? All this information around artificial intelligence, agentic AI, and all this stuff. We talk about Nvidia a lot, right? We talk about OpenAI. We talk about Anthropic. We spent some time yesterday talking about Perplexity and how their revenue's growing and blah blah blah. Okay. And I was doing some research and I was thinking, wait a second. Amazon, through its AWS business, also runs, and they've been doing this for a while now. Before there were the transformer models and the large language models, they were still running some artificial intelligence stuff on their servers, and they were selling it to people as a service. And it turns out that the revenue for their AI services are already at $15 billion a year. But they're not competing, and the market doesn't really, not the market, but like, there's not a lot of chatter about it, right? Because it's not a transformer model. It's not an LLM. People are not building stuff around it. But Amazon's revenue is $15 billion. And they said they're going to spend $200 billion on CapEx in 2026 alone.
On CapEx on 2026 alone.
And most of that's going to be tied to their AI business.
Oh, wow. But first of all, it's crazy that they already made 15 billion. That was Anthropic revenue 2 months ago.
I know.
And we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, but remember, they're doing a different thing.
Yeah.
Right? And it in a way, like, I'll make a bet with you.
Tell me.
Okay? There is a very high likelihood, right? Because we talk about that. We'll get to this sort of at the end of the AMA stuff. I feel like there's some darts out for OpenAI.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
people are like aiming at them. No one's aiming at Amazon.
Yeah.
And the other difference here is that Amazon has revenue. We talked about it already. They have $68 or $70 billion from the ad business just on their e-commerce platform.
Yeah.
Not to mention the rest of the revenue that they make from Amazon.com.
Yes.
Okay, so they're making $15 billion in annualized revenue just from the AI stuff on AWS. AWS as well makes way more revenue. So even if their AI business completely goes away, the rest of their businesses aren't going away.
Yeah.
But for a company like OpenAI, their only revenue, because their ad revenue is not that big yet, that business hasn't really started yet, per se, is the money they make from their subscriptions.
Yeah.
The $20, $100, $200 subscription. And they have decent competition there as well.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So the point is that, like, even though no one's talking about what's going on there, it's a very different business. It's not like as sexy as what's happening at OpenAI and at Perplexity and at at Anthropic.
I really wonder, like,
but I think it's more sustainable.
yeah, but also, like, think about it, like, is there a lot of companies like Amazon who are able to make money on so many
Microsoft?
completely different business?
Microsoft and Google.
Microsoft
And Google.
Yeah, but
Right.
Google made a lot of money from ads. What else is really big? Like,
So nothing. So this is the
Nothing,
biggest
right?
problem that Facebook and Google have.
they just made money from ads, right?
No matter what they try to do, and this is one of the reasons why I think Facebook's foray, as we talked about it yesterday, into the AI business, is likely to fail.
They have like Google Cloud as well.
Yeah, Google Cloud makes a lot of money.
Let's check how much. But okay, so it's 50. Google Cloud reported $18 billion of revenue for Q4 2025.
Q4.
Yep, so it's probably around
70-something million bucks.
70 billion, which is much less than AWS 140.
Right.
It's half. But still, like, yeah, like they are making, like, my point here was, like, they are having multiple businesses that are completely different from each other, right? And they are able to make it work, right? And that's hard to do. There's not a lot of companies who are making, like, you know, that amount of money in so many
different businesses, right?
verticals,
So, but this is why businesses differ.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're different businesses, but they're related to each other.
Yes.
Right. It's not like they're making socks.
Yeah.
And computer chips.
Yeah.
Plenty of Japanese companies tried to do this, and they made no money on socks and no money on computer chips because they weren't good at either one of them.
Okay.
But I want to make another point here. The AI business in which Amazon is investing through AWS gives them multiple ways to win, right? Because they're building, almost like Nvidia's trying to do, they're trying to be a factory for artificial intelligence. They're not trying to build the models. They're trying to be a place where the models run.
Yeah.
Right, and this gets back to the gold rush. Are you the guy that's trying to find the gold? Or are you the guy that's selling the picks, the hammers, and those little things you use, the sieves to try to find the gold? Because people are always going to try to find gold. Right, so in this case, they're making chips, they're doing all this other stuff, right? They're tranium chips and all these other things that they're doing. And in that way, I feel like Amazon is not betting on just like one big chatbot, which is what OpenAI is doing, right? They're betting on just being a place, an infrastructure place where everyone's going to do it. And we talked about this yesterday and the day before. All this money that's getting spent on infrastructure, some of it's going to go to AWS.
For sure.
So that's going to make it a much more sustainable business.
For sure. And plus, they know, even already, they already have like a huge network of data centers distributed all around the world.
Exactly.
They know how they know very well how it works. They are implemented. They have insane, processes in terms of failover, in terms of what happens in case something doesn't happen right.
Yep.
All the backup system, like they are ready, right? Like so, then you can just host something else, basically.
Exactly.
Right? So that's why, like, all of these models that you do right now, like and Anthropic, OpenAI, they use this platform that are already built. I think AWS is the main provider of Anthropic's models. So, like, they are winning because they have built the infrastructure, and now we can adapt and then do more, and that makes a ton of sense.
Exactly.
And this is really cool. Like,
okay, I just wanted to point this out, that, like, it's not that Amazon isn't involved in the artificial intelligence business. It's just not involved in the same vector that OpenAI and Anthropic and even Perplexity are involved. But all of those companies at some level probably use them.
For sure.
And are going to take the money that they've raised and pay Amazon or pay AWS. That business is way more sustainable to me.
For sure. I love that business. Like,
yeah, and Amazon's not going away.
I would do that personally.
You would, exactly. If you could build that business.
If I could choose.
You'd much rather choose to build that business that everybody has to use than where other people are building these LLMs and frontier model businesses.
I think this is more fun but the data centers is way more useful and have a much higher chance of
You can
success.
sleep a lot better running this business.
It depends. When you crash, you don't sleep well.
Yeah, for sure.
You need someone else to worry about the crash. Then yes, you sleep very well.
Capitalism. What are we doing?
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about SiFive.
Yes.
I think it's SiFive. SiFive raised $400 million. So I want to get into a little bit more detail about this, right? Because I want to explain why this funding round is more important than just like the big headline. They raised $400 million at a $3.65 billion valuation. Nvidia invested in it, Apollo, Point72, some big, really important people invested in it. And the money that they raised, right, is specifically aimed at, and this is important to understand technically, it interests me and it interests the market as well, at high-performance RISC chips. These are CPUs and artificial intelligence IP for data centers, which means that they're trying to move from embedded and specialized markets into the highest value of this compute system. And the reason why this is so important is because, and the reason why it's important that they're working with Nvidia is because Nvidia, again, is trying to build this factory. Mm-hmm. But the CPU, while everyone talks about the GPUs, the CPU is the place that connects the GPU to everything else. Mm-hmm. And if those CPUs are not optimized for these GPUs, right, and this is why they talk about the RISC architecture. You know what RISC is, right? Reduced Instruction Set Computing. It's been around for a long time. Okay. But it means if you move off the x86 stuff, right, because that's more of a general purpose. Mm-hmm. It's not built specifically for just like reduced instructions. It handles everything. And that's what this point is. This really suggests that open standard CPU architecture is now being treated as strategically relevant, much more relevant for what's happening in the AI infrastructure space, and not just as like something that's experimental. And giving them all this money to develop this stuff, particularly when Nvidia is involved, is actually really important, right? And the other reason why is that modern data centers now need to be able to use multiple different suppliers, and they want these chips to be able to connect to a bunch of different things, and that's just going to take a lot of research and development to do, and that's one of the reasons why they raised all this money. And it also gives them the ability to create customized chips as well, right? And the thing that SiFive, maybe it's SiFive, does that's different from some other chip makers is that, even the ARM chip makers, is that they recommend designs. Okay. And then you can take those designs and customize them for yourself. Okay. Yeah. But this is really important when it comes to the x86 and the ARM stuff. The RISC stuff is going to make this a lot easier. This is what NVIDIA is thinking, and that's one of the reasons why this is so important. And in the context of NVIDIA itself, wanting to build that full stack factory for artificial intelligence, their investment in this is actually really important.
Yeah, because now they can work with them. They can probably like integrate what they do into the NVIDIA chips as well.
Exactly.
Right? Make sure things works well together.
Yep.
But I feel like there's a lot of people building like chips and GPUs and all of that. Like this is a sector that is growing.
Yeah, it was like really static.
Yeah,
for a long time.
We didn't really hear like much stuff
about chips.
About chips.
No, it was just like
until like recently.
Yeah, here's the new version of this x86 chip from Intel. AMD is copying it, whatever. Or AMD makes some new GPU. Yeah. Even until a few years ago, the Nvidia stuff was just like it's just a GPU maker. We talked about it yesterday, the day before, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's
why that's important.
Much more players. I wonder how that's that may translate into computer, that may translate into other like phone, maybe like let's see how it evolves. But we may be surprised. We may be surprised because these chips are super important.
Yeah, very important.
It's not like we're talking small thing. We're talking about yeah, very, very important things to everything. So actually, like I was just thinking, like when you were talking, we talked a lot about GPUs, CPUs. What about storage? Just that's the third wheel of the.
When you talk about storage, you're talking about like just the disks that store
SSDs,
things.
Right?
Yeah. So
we had like HD 15 years ago. Then SSD was the new evolution of that.
Yep.
What's next? Right? We don't talk much about.
No, we don't talk about it. But particularly in the context of all the new data that's getting created.
We don't need so much storage, huh?
Right. That's why they want to put data centers in space because there's space.
Yep. So what are the innovation regarding storage? Is there
Maybe we should just like quit this. We should just quit and like invent new.
Which is you.
I'm out of here, man.
Let's do storage. let's do hard drive. Let's do new hard drive. But like I mean, that's the logical overplayer into this ecosystem, right? Like you need you need a lot of storage. I mean, I would be so interested to know what has been the increase in people consumption of storage over the last 15 years.
Dude, I have so many hard drives in my house.
I think it's insane. I think we are not ready for that number.
No way.
Like how much storage we were using in 2005 compared to 2025.
But you know this just from our own business. How often do we have to like delete stuff?
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, constantly.
Constantly. How much time we need to buy a new hard drive? How much time we need a bigger storage on our iPhone because we have too many pictures that we never watch, right? Like
exactly.
All of that is multiplied by how many billion of people who have an iPhone, right? So all the extra 2, 5, 20, 50 gigabytes of storage that we need to buy individually times everybody in the world plus the businesses. I think the number of like growth in terms of storage is gigantic. And now that we had AI on top of all of that, you need to store the model, you need to store all the data of people and all of that. It's gonna be.
I mean, every time we make a query to something like ChatGPT or Anthropic, it's creating more data that needs to be stored.
For sure. Like all your chat history in ChatGPT, it's stored somewhere. It's stored somewhere. It's into a database. Maybe it's very small.
They don't delete it.
No,
even if you delete it, they don't delete it.
No, they keep it. Yeah,
they have to because they're training off of it.
Yeah. So that's why maybe it's like very, very small. It doesn't cost much to host it, but times everybody will use that. And plus like over time as well, then it compounds. Right? There's like a need that compound as much as AI needs compound as well, right? So
exactly.
So yeah, let's see. But maybe we're gonna see some innovation in terms of storage as well, which would be interesting.
I think so too. Okay, one more thing with Nvidia. Nvidia just bought SchedMD, a company that frankly I hadn't heard of. And they run another product. SchedMD runs a product called Slurm, which again I had not heard of. But Slurm actually is the workload manager that 60 to 65% of the world's top supercomputers run, which makes it critical infrastructure for high performance computing and many large AI clients. But again, this is part of the minutia and the niche stuff that's going on in the artificial intelligence world that we haven't heard of. But Nvidia is trying to strengthen their own open source ecosystem and help researchers run better AI and better high performance computing more efficiently. They want to buy this thing. But the real problem is that they've done stuff before, right? The reason why this is really significant is because so many people use it and so many really important companies use it. Like they said, 60 to 65% of AI and this high performance computer are using this on the supercomputer side. Wow. It's a really important part of the infrastructure. But in the past, I can't remember the name of the company. Yeah, they bought a company called Bright Computing. That was also really important. And the problem is, it has to be interoperable. I got it, man.
You're really good.
My English is really good.
Impressive.
Amazing. But the reason why the market is worried about this and why people are actually talking about this is because you have to have these multiple modules and multiple highways on this Slurm product, right? So that everybody else's software and everybody else's hardware and everybody else's chips can interact with this. So that if you're using different stuff that's not NVIDIA's,
it's going to still work.
It's going to still work because right now it does work because it's independent. But people are worried because when they bought Bright Computing, there was some concern that they were updating all of these other channels, but they were updating their own channel faster.
But you see, like all the investment and all of the development, all the R&D that is like pouring into infrastructure.
Yeah, right? It's massive.
That's what I think. Like,
and again, it's not just in one place, right?
It's just in one place, like across all the value chain. Like we didn't talk about power today, but in the last few weeks, we had like plenty of announcements as well. We in like power itself. Let's just make electricity. Right? Like this is like very basic. But we just need more, right? Like,
we need way more.
This is just a fact, and so that's what I think. Like it answers also the question of like, is AI a bubble at this point when we see all of this development? I think
that's why we did that segment 2 days ago on like, is this really a bubble? I don't think so.
I mean, maybe it's overvalued. Maybe it's gonna take a hit at some point and go down. Maybe. But when you see like all of this growth in terms of hardware, infrastructure, and all of that to make things more efficient, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to consume less. We want to be able to do more faster, and so we need all of this innovation. So I really wonder like where all of this new tech that we build for AI may be applied to something else.
Like what?
Like that's really what I wonder. Maybe we're gonna see some very interesting new use cases. To the tech the same way Nvidia started with video game, and then blockchain, and then
Yep.
AI.
Yeah, you
Like,
could not have predicted 5 or 6 years ago that, not 5 or 6, but like 10 years ago,
10 years, yeah.
that Nvidia was going to be the biggest supplier of GPUs for artificial
Yeah,
intelligence.
yes.
Yeah, you just couldn't have predicted
That's
it.
why I really wonder. Like, I feel at the end of the day, it's a really good thing that we become better at building tech, like the hardware, right? Like,
absolutely.
this is a really, really good thing.
Yeah.
And so I wonder. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna make smaller cameras, better laptop. With all of this new stuff that are happening, better hardware for something else because they are building that, and this is cool. This is really cool.
I thought this was a really interesting story. And the last part of this is, for the last, I want to say for the longest time, but it's really just been for the past like 3 to 5 years, Nvidia has kind of maintained a little bit of a monopoly, a little bit of power, and a focus on their chip business. But we did do a segment a couple of months ago where we talked about them trying to say like the chip business may actually become a commodity business.
Yeah.
But if you can provide a full stack of artificial intelligence services, that's where you're going to be able to build a moat around your own business. And people are really worried that they're going to take this thing and make it part of their moat, and that they're moving from just saying we're only focused on chips to this full stack thing.
Yeah.
Right. And if they now control that mechanism that does all that connectivity, and if they build it better for themselves to connect to their own stuff better than it is for everybody else's stuff, even if they do this a little bit later, it's just a worry that the market's having around this, which makes this really, really interesting. And it makes NVIDIA's moat potentially deeper and more powerful than it is already just with the GPUs.
Yeah.
That's why I thought this was interesting.
But also, like, you did a whole segment a few days ago on the Chinese part of the story. And that's what they do. They integrate everything. Right?
Everything.
Like they don't compete like that. They don't think the same way, right? Like
No.
They integrate everything from the get-go. Everybody works with each other across the value chain. So they know that, right? Like they know better than us what's happening at the scale of China, right? So maybe that's also like part of the thing of like, guys, we need to do better, right? Like we also need to stay competitive because the Chinese are
But they're also super committed.
Yeah, super committed. Yeah.
From top to bottom.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And when I say from top to bottom, I mean all the way from the government, all the way down to the entrepreneurs, individual entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Everyone's committed to this.
When we talk to Chinese entrepreneur, that's like a different story. Right? They are committed. That's
It's
the
a
word.
different thing, man.
That's a different thing, right?
It's a completely different thing.
That's
Anyway, that's why I wanted to mention this.
No, super interesting.
So 3 kind of real interesting stories that I thought were dominating the market today. Okay, let's move on to the AMA stuff.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about this Andrei Karpathy?
So yes, we can start with this one. So that's a tweet that
Yeah, it's a tweet.
he published, and basically, like, he was replying to that tweet from Stay Sassy, which says the degree to which you are awed by AI is perfectly correlated with how much you use AI to code. So basically, like, you need to know how to use AI to code to be able to see, like, how it works and understand how it goes
And what it can do.
and what it can do.
Right.
Exactly. And so Andrej say that, judging by this timeline there is a growing gap in understanding of AI capability. And I really agree with that.
So do I. And again, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, like, the more we advance, and the more we move forward, and the more the AI is becoming better, and there's more and more use cases, and more people use it, you start to see the world that bifurcate, I would say, right? There's some people who use AI in a certain way, some people who use AI another way, some people who think it's still a bubble, some people who are scared that it's going to take their job, people who don't have the money to access the AI. So now we start to see a lot of gaps that are created with the access to AI. And I think that's real and that's growing.
So he makes a really good point here.
Yeah.
And one of the points he makes, I'm gonna make an analogy to cameras. You can be a really rich guy and buy the most impressive camera, but all you're really gonna do is put it on autofocus.
Yeah.
Right? And just take pictures of your kids.
Yes.
Right? But you still have the fanciest camera. And I think part of the point he's trying to make is that the reason why it's bifurcating is because the change in the models for the things that most people do, whether it's writing or a little bit of research or a little bit of something that makes them more efficient, is nothing like, he uses the word staggering, the staggering difference at the highest level of the capabilities of some of these models, particularly for the $200 tiers, whether it's on Anthropic or on Codex.
Yeah.
And that is the stuff that they can do on a day-to-day basis and the way it grows and iterates and gets better Regular people don't know
Exactly.
because they're not coding, which is exactly what you were saying. Right?
Yeah.
They're just sitting there going like, I don't understand why people are saying this stuff is progressing so quickly, because the writing that I'm doing or the research that I'm doing doesn't seem to be that different, and it's not much faster. But they don't know because they're not doing math, they're not doing science, they're not doing physics, they're not doing coding.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're not seeing these, again, staggering differences in how the models behave.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, just from a society standpoint, it's a little bit scary, right? Because there's this
It
whole
is.
cohort of people
Yeah.
that are just sitting there going, oh my God, I can't believe what's happening over there. And another group of people are like, hey, I wrote my paper a little bit faster.
Yeah. No,
Right?
That's true.
And that's a really good point.
Yep. And yeah. So let's see how it goes. But I think if you listen to this podcast, it means you are very interested into AI and you probably use AI.
You're probably the
right?
guy over here using the coding stuff.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But so like, you know, we have an intern that comes actually in 2 weeks, right? And so I was thinking about her and I was thinking like, what am I going to give her? Because everything that we would have given to an intern 2 years ago,
Right.
now AI can do it.
Yeah, we do it ourselves.
Better, faster,
Better,
right?
faster, without having to explain it to anybody.
Without to anybody, the intern comes and goes in 2 months. The AI stays, right? So
Yeah,
it's also
exactly.
like time that you don't waste to explain, train, and all of that, right?
Yep.
So I was really scared of like, I actually have nothing to do for you. Like you came all the way to to where we live, you know. And
We'll have stuff for her to do.
and then I was like, okay, like, you know, there's really that it has really changed. That's really my point, right? Like now, if you are a 20 years old, 22 years old, out of college,
Yeah.
you need to use AI. You need to learn AI. You need to know like.
And
what's
this is again
going
the
on.
point he's making is
Exactly, yeah,
if
yeah.
you're not doing this
If you're
stuff,
not
if you're not
doing this-
figuring this stuff out,
Yeah.
at least know what it's doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. I'm not coding, but I'm paying attention.
Yes.
And we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So I understand these staggering changes. And because
Exactly.
we're reading all this stuff all the time, we get it. But
Exactly.
there's a whole cohort of people that aren't.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they need to.
So let's see how it goes. But yeah, interesting point, I think.
Let's talk about Peter Yang.
Peter Yan. So that's a
Which, if you remove one letter, it sounds like a UFC fighter, even though it's mispronounced, Piotr Jan. But anyway,
that's true.
it's a different story.
That's true. So that was more like an observation that he made around.
But why does he think this, though?
So first of all, let's tweet the tweet so everybody has the information.
Go ahead.
He say, as much as I love using Cloud Max, so that's the subscription on Anthropic, the $100, $200
Yep.
that we always talk about, and ChatGPT Pro, same thing.
Same thing. That's what I use. Yeah.
That's the subscription at ChatGPT. I don't think this all-you-can-use AI subscription will last forever, and I completely agree with that.
Do you?
Like, yes, because it kind of makes no sense from an economic standpoint. Why they would charge you $100 when they can charge you $1,000 in API cost? That really makes no sense. So
But why can they charge more for the API? And why would you use it?
sorry.
Why would you use it?
Like if tomorrow they just cancel the plan, then the only chance we have, the only way we have to use their
Right, if they
their
completely
model-
cancel the plan. Sure,
Yeah.
if they shut down the restaurant, you can't go there anymore.
Yeah, but so
For sure.
I think this is a possible next step. They could say, oh yeah, we just stop the subscription. We just cancel the plan. It doesn't exist anymore. And next step, everyone will need to pay for the API.
But even guys like I am that aren't doing anything that's fantastical.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
So
not
they'll
just
do this
you.
for enterprises for sure.
Yes, for enterprises.
Because if you're using 60 trillion tokens, they've got a problem.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Now, that was internal to Facebook, so not a big problem because it's
Yeah.
their guys using their stuff,
Yeah.
so it's not a big deal. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But so that's why, like, I think next step for businesses, we use Codex, we use Codex, we use Opus. So we have like a heavy usage of AI. We have a subscription fit at the moment. I think let's keep in mind that maybe subscription is not going to be there anymore.
So I think you're right. I think for the
Yeah.
large enterprise clients, and again, for Anthropic, 80% of their business is enterprise, they're probably going to go, this all-you-can-eat thing is not going to work
Yeah.
anymore. Because remember, we talked about this yesterday, I think, or the day before. Intelligence is not static, right? It compounds.
Mm-hmm.
And when it compounds, it just means it's not like times 2, times 3. It's to a power of 2 or to the power
Yeah.
of 3.
Yeah.
And that compounding is going to make the usage so much higher. And the
So
more you
much
use it,
higher.
the more you're going to have to use it.
Yeah.
It's going to be way more expensive.
Yep. So I hope we don't do it, but let's keep that as a possibility.
Interesting, though. Interesting way to think about it. But
Yeah.
again, this is another reason why humans are not going to stop doing jobs. Because at some point, humans are going to be cheaper.
Yeah, actually, this was actually you
Then
remember,
AI.
you remember we talked about that like two months ago when
We
I
did.
started to implement OpenAI into our company.
Yeah.
I was checking like how much I was spending in token per hour, that was more than having hiring someone.
Right, exactly.
So then you're like,
and that's true everywhere.
and that's true for probably
And it'll
a lot of people,
normalize
right?
at some point.
Yeah, but if
When?
for sure. But also, and then you're like, if your AI cannot do the type of task that would cost really a lot of money to hire someone,
Right.
if you just talk about managing emails and stuff like that, like, you know, having a PA, for example, and that PA, like this AI agent PA, costs $10 an hour, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Just hire someone. It's going to be much nicer. Someone
Right.
who smiles, someone who's happy, someone who's with you into the office,
Someone
right?
who can get you coffee.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be much
Buy you lunch.
nicer, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, like, it is possible. It is definitely possible. I'm sure a lot of companies actually have experienced that. Where the people that they are trying to augment with AI actually spend much more on the AI itself than it would cost.
Those lines are going to cross on a chart
Yeah.
somewhere, and at some point, it's going to be much more efficient to actually hire people than it is to be able to do software.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I really wonder how the cost of all of that is going to evolve. I think there's a case for the cost increase and the cost decrease.
Yep.
So that's why I really don't know. So let's just keep an eye on that and let's see how
Interesting
it
to see.
goes.
Okay,
Yep.
what else does Peter Yang think
So
about his trip to China? Because he did take a trip to China recently.
yes,
We
yes,
reported on this a couple of weeks ago.
yes.
And he's been
yes,
sending
yes.
out a lot of little nuggets about this.
So, really interesting thoughts that he shared on his X as well, which is Silicon Valley is currently running on Chinese open source AI models.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like when you
Shocking.
think about like
Shocking.
when you think about the big war between OpenAI and Anthropic, the big war between the US and China, and you have a lot of these very large startups, right, that are like
Whatever that means anymore, but yeah.
growing very fast, who are running on Chinese models.
But why not? It's probably cheaper.
It's open source, so they just inside it themselves and they run it themselves,
Exactly.
right? Like a few weeks ago, Cursor, like that was like a big drama on X, where they basically said, "Hey, we launched our own model, okay, like our own Cursor or something." And then someone figured out that in the query that was like going to the model, there was a /Kimi 2.5 or something like that. And so someone said, "Wait a minute,
Slow down. Slow down over there.
It is not your own thing. It is actually like a version of Kimi 2.5, which after that, both Cursor and Kimi 2.5 said, yes, that's true, basically. But so, yeah, so then he made actually a list of like Cursor doing that. Shopify as well. We talked about them earlier, saving $5 million a year by switching to Alibaba's Queen
Airbnb as
model.
well.
Airbnb as well using Queen. So yeah, that's actually a very interesting thing that's going on. Let's see how that evolves as well. But yeah, I thought it was worth noting.
Interesting. Okay. How about Noah Epstein?
So Noah Epstein.
Thank you, Noah, for letting us use this.
Yep.
Your tweet on X.
So let me open it because my tabs are just all over the place.
So in the old days, right, it was called Twitter, and that's why they called it a tweet. If it's now called X, is it like a suite? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. XWET?
I wonder as well.
I wonder as well. I X'd that guy out. That sounds mean.
If someone knows, please tell us.
Please tell us.
So we
send
can
us a chat.
So we can say the right thing. But so the next thing that I wanted to share was there's this big ongoing discussion as well right now on X, which is Anthropic maybe throttling its own models.
Its own older models.
No, Opus 4.6. So it's like
Okay, but
model
why
right
would they
now.
do this?
So first of all, the fact. What do they say? They say that people reports that Opus is becoming less good and less good and less good over time. Like it was much better a month ago, much better 2 months ago, and now the same thing that you pay for, right? Like you still pay the same price, but Opus is becoming dumber. He makes more mistakes. He think less, right?
It just gets lazy.
And so a lot of people
I answered that question yesterday.
Yeah, so like for example, so Noah shares that in 6,800 code session analyzed, thinking depth dropped 67%. The habit of reading code before editing it gone from 6.6 reads on average to 2, and lazy behavior violation 0 before to now 10 per day. So I don't know how they do this test. Okay, like I don't know. You know, there's always like a guy somewhere who's doing something that seems impressive, right? Like, but we don't know who's the guy. We don't know what is the method, like, and we can't reproduce it. So it's always figures to be careful about, I would say.
No, maybe we can get Noah on the show to run us through how this works.
And actually tell us, yep, true. Noah,
that would be nice, Noah.
If you
DM me.
Yep, but so always need to be careful. But I think like the thing that I wanted to share was, if it's true, I really wonder why they do that. Like, it feels so stupid from the anthropic point of view to actually do that.
So, you know, one of the conversations we had yesterday, right, was that sometimes when they build these models, the humans that are building them, their personalities kind of seep in or drip into the models that get built, right? We talked about why OpenAI is always trying to say yes to things. And that maybe that's part of Sam Altman's personality.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the case that it's not intentional.
Okay.
That it's a flaw maybe in the design of the model.
Okay.
That it's like once it's done something over and over again, it's just like, really? And I'm not really joking.
Yeah.
Right?
That would be.
You understand the point, though?
Yeah. That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. Maybe that's just the model itself that has some flaws, right? And just do that. But in case it's not, in case it's Anthropic was actually doing it for real, like the case for they do it. Okay, like the reason why they would do it, people say it would be to save money. Like they launch Opus, they say that's the best model. It was like, yeah, that's great, and then they say,
then everybody signs up for it, people use it, and then they're like, okay, dial that thing back because it's too expensive.
Then they make it let's do. And once we hit a critical point of like people are like, yeah, now it sucks. Then they say, hey, we have a new one, Mythos-Clomage. Right, and so then, boom, it goes back up.
That would just be the most Machiavellian thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
Right, so
I just can't believe that's true.
So that's the case of that, and so that's first the Martin case, and then the second case is like, okay, they just want to reduce cost and give less.
This sounds like what people say about Apple and the batteries in the iPhones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They throttle it like 3 years in. They're just like, that battery's gonna die.
Dead. Yeah.
You need to buy a new iPhone.
So, but then the case against, to me, even if it's true, and they really throttle, tools to save money, what are we talking about? For a company who just raised like $30 billion, who made $30 billion of revenue, right. What are they really saving? 50 million, 100 million? Like, all the bad PR that they are getting because of that, if it's really intentional,
it doesn't sound like a win to me.
It doesn't seem like a win to me at all, right? Like, especially in the moment now where this seems to be winning. They should double down. They should give more. They should get more users. They should like do something, even better. They shouldn't like shoot their own foot, right? And say, actually, no, we are not going to make things too good, right? Like, to me, it doesn't really make much sense, right? To do that from a business standpoint and why they would do that. Plus, as we said earlier, it's so hard to migrate somewhere that if you're really fed up of Opus and you go to Codex, you are not coming back.
No.
So you really lose your users. You really lose the people that that are loving your product, that are paying for your product. And if once again, I don't think this is a really smart move if they do that.
I don't think so.
It doesn't
sound something that a company like.
Yep.
It doesn't sound like something Dario would do.
No.
It just doesn't.
But on the other end, from my own experience, it's true that. I tend.
You feel like it's getting worse?
I don't have a specific example, okay? So I think like two things to be really careful about is that, first of all, my own understanding and my own usage of AI has evolved so much.
Oh, sure.
That now the way I use AI is completely different than 2 months ago.
Right, so you're comparing, and again, you have to understand what this term means. You're comparing an ignorant user seeing power, and then an experienced user going, not as powerful as I thought.
Exactly, yes.
Right, so you have to have a balance there, right?
So that's
it's not just you. It could be everybody.
Yeah. So that's why it could be everybody when we just get used to it.
This thing is not as good as I thought is a fair comment.
Yeah.
But it's worse than it was. It's not. It's a different thing, right?
Or also that my expectations now are so much higher.
Yeah.
And so now I'm disappointed because I'm asking way more. Because I have much more understanding, I have much more experience, and now I feel like it's so slow, right? Like you have a car.
What are we doing?
It's the first time you go into a Toyota, you're super happy. But then after a few years, you're like, I want the Lamborghini. That's just normal, right? Because you want to be faster. So I feel like there's a little part of that inside of me who is like, I'm not super sure, maybe I just got better. And then the other thing is that I don't have a very specific example that was
it's
working
just a
before.
Feeling.
Just a feeling that it's true.
And we don't know where his stats come from.
Yes, and we have no idea about the stat. I can't do my own stats, and it's just a feeling that right now it's true. It seems much harder than it was before. Okay. Before it felt like you can just do it, and now you get a bit more painful, let's say.
Okay. I always like to end on something a little bit whimsical. Let's go to this Markets and Mayhem post on X. It says the New Yorker drops a bomb on Sam Altman. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Well, actually, a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
A little bit more detail. OpenAI insiders say the CEO of the world's most important AI company can't really code and confuses basic machine learning terms. Fair enough. The guy who runs General Electric doesn't really understand the way airplane engine turbines work either, but he's still pretty good at running the company. It's a different story, but not exactly the same. And that he built influence through strategy, not technical depth. That he sets up structures and then removes them when constraints apply. And there was this story yesterday, and a Microsoft exec warned as well that he could remember like figures from financial scandals. We talked about this, that like maybe he's just scamming people. And then the last thing is that these two things go together is Polymarket Money reports that Elon Musk claims that OpenAI maximizes the money they make by lying to users. I would say that that's rich, frankly, coming from Elon Musk.
Rich, that's an interesting word.
It's rich coming from Elon Musk, since he has a competing product as well. Yeah. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is not to pile on here, but to say that it does feel like the market's piling on.
Yeah, it's true.
And it feels like there's this wave out there. Remember, he went through this scandal. I don't know exactly when it was, but it wasn't that long ago, where all these board machinations he was doing at OpenAI, and they fired him. And he had to kind of weasel his way back in and convince his way back in. Yep. He may not be as successful the next time this happens. And it feels like he's built up a lot of really bad will. But I'm really bad will. And people are trying to discredit him and undermine him in a way that feels really, really negative. Yeah. And also the fact that it feels like what's happening at OpenAI is unwieldy. That the way they're building their products and deciding what to work on, deciding what to focus on and stuff like that feels like it doesn't have the right level of strategic relevance or coherence. And that to me is really problematic. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if he got removed. Right? And remember, we saw that exchange at the beginning of the show where he's like saying, we have more compute power than you guys do. Yeah. And then Dario comes back and goes, yeah, but you're short. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff is like silliness. But one of the other things that they were saying, and I think I read this today, was that OpenAI is making fun of Anthropic because they have less compute. They're moving much more slowly to build their infrastructure and all this other stuff, right? And that they're just not developing things as fast. And Dario's answer to this is the same thing it always is. We're just much more deliberate about what we do. We're more conservative about what we do. We take a much longer term view. We have a plan, and we're focused. And because of that, we feel like that's more successful. And this is a little bit like the tortoise and the hare fable, where like the rabbit's running really fast but doesn't know where it's going, and the turtle's just like slowly but surely going in the right direction, and at the end of the day wins the race. Yeah. But it does feel like there's some piling on here, and I just think it's going to be interesting to watch what happens in that space.
But it's true. I think it's true. It's very nice that you point this out because it helps also to put things into context. And so when we see a new article that says, hey, Sam Altman is super bad, it's not like just one article. It's just a big campaign, almost orchestrated.
I said it feels coordinated.
Yeah, coordinated. So maybe it's not as bad as it looks because it looks
really bad.
It looks really, really bad, right? Because of this big campaign that seems to be going on. But yeah, I really wonder what's going to happen next, right? And you're right. Maybe it's going to be removed again. Maybe it's not going to be that lucky that time, right? Yeah. That's a possibility because it looks like a lot of people are attaching him, right?
Yeah, and for a company and I want to end on this and then we'll go, but I want to say that like for a company that's as important and as significant and is kind of the face today of artificial intelligence, it's problematic.
it's actually really problematic.
It's really problematic.
It's problematic because they need to have the trust of the users, and maybe they don't have the
And their
highest
investors.
revenue right now, but they
Right.
still have the highest number of users, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder actually, because we live into a tech bubble, right? But I really wonder what my mom feels about it.
Exactly.
Right? Does she knows that is she exposed? I mean, maybe not yet. Maybe it's still like in the.
But it would be
bubble.
interesting to ask somebody like, we
Yeah.
always use somebody's mom as
Yeah,
the metaphor for this, right?
They're
It's the
outside of
proxy
the
for this.
bubble, yeah.
Because they seem to be outside the bubble unless your mother is the head of AI at Microsoft. Like, wasn't that
No,
Sunita?
she's not yet.
You know what I mean? Who didn't have to explain to her husband and her kids anymore what she did for a living.
Yeah.
Because now it's all over the TV. But yeah, it would be interesting to ask them,
Yep.
like, what does Anthropic do?
Yeah, well, and
With no context.
and with Sam Altman as well. Are they aware of all this
Yeah,
problem?
yeah.
Or maybe actually another thought would be the day it goes mass market, it means there is really something that bad that's about to happen.
Yeah.
And the day, it's not on the specialized tech news like us, but
Right,
it's
right.
on CNN or it's on something that's
Somewhere.
really mass market.
Where your mother calls you and you go, do you know that?
Exactly. So the day there is actually now that I think about it, there was a trial a few weeks ago, like that. I've seen that into a few things, but like it was like a trial against his sister, something pretty bad about like some cheat stuff. I'm not going to mention that. If you want to know, like please search
Not
for
interested.
yourself. But they got away with it because they were a problem in how they got to trial. There's this thing in the US where if the process is not done right, then you can just remove
just
the
throw it
entire
out.
thing. Yeah, so that's what happened. But maybe that was like really close to become mass market. Because this was something with his sister, something family stuff. That could be something that was like, okay, that may be the trigger to be able to go much broader in terms of exposure. That failed. I really wonder, right? Like
We
maybe,
do have to be careful about this, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're in the bubble.
We are in the bubble, but let's see. Maybe we're gonna see something even worse, and hopefully for him, because we wish him the best, right? Like,
Yeah. I never want anything bad to happen to anybody. That's
for
not
sure,
the
for
point.
sure. And plus, that what he has built with OpenAI is super impressive over like the last few years, right? So, For now. So let's see how it evolves. I hope he's going to be okay for sure.
Okay.
And it's going to be fine.
Let's end on that. That's it for AGTP Daily. Thank you again so much for joining us. Give us a thumbs up on today's video. Subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Follow us on all our socials, on X, on Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'm going to surprise Martin with something. Let us know in the comments if there's anything you'd like us to discuss on our upcoming shows. Ask us questions there. We'd love to do more AMA. We'll be back again on Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Let's do
Finally.
Yep.
My name is Michael Waits. That's Martin Runford. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.